We knew it was going to break, but it finally did. Well, good morning, or is it? I don't know. We're gonna see if we can't put this other cylinder on. Wow, that's bright. Put this other cylinder on this combine that we broke last night. This is still new, so that part's still good. That part's gone. The rest of that cylinder should be good. Before we came over this morning, Gary switched out some parts on that other cylinder. We should be able to just take one off and put the new one on. I'm going to check this tire as well. I put a whole tank of air in it yesterday, but I didn't have a gauge that was good enough to actually, oops, hey, you guys got to cooperate here. Making videos hard. I don't know if I really got enough because the gauge I had wouldn't fit on the thing because there's too much stuff in the way. I got a different gauge today, so we'll see what it's at. So in here somewhere. And how much you gonna make to bet the stem is at the bottom? Oh wow, look at that, it's right there. That never happens. It stops where you have it on top nice and conveniently. What did we get it out here? 15. I'm pretty sure we had them set at 25. So it was really low. All right, I guess I was wrong. It was 20 on the other side. So we're down 5. And then we're gonna spend half the morning doing maintenance. He's got guards that he's got to put on his combine. He's got a couple that are broke or something. The cylinder, this tire, and then I'm not sure if we need to fill or not. We don't really have much left here, but at some point we'll probably have to go get more diesel. This is a good tank, but that's a pain in the butt. You know what, now I look at it. I have a super long hose, I probably didn't need to lift it out. Oh well. Well, this field is done, thankfully. Tail end of this field is kind of a pain because it's a lot of curve and then ditches. So adjusting your combine appropriately is a bit of a challenge, especially when everything's manual. There's supposed to be on these combines an adjustment that keeps you a certain height off the ground no matter what. Well, that has never worked in as long as I've been doing it. And then also the side hill, which tilts the body, is supposed to keep it flat all the time. Well, that doesn't work either. And then the indicator that tells you how high you are off the ground is not perfectly in a line, and about the time you want it moving so you can tell that you're sliding across the ground, but about the time you get to the point where it's actually starting to move, one side will be digging dirt and the other side will be out of whack. It's not severe, but it's really hard to finesse all 4 of those things at the same time. Another day, here we go. Always got to use the corn cob. There was no wind last night and it was dusty. I mean, look at that. Mornings like this, we always try and get the leaf blower out and blow the combine off because you get dust build up like that and back behind those wheels. Well, if a bearing goes out in this wheel or whatever, one of these wheels somewhere, for some reason, or in there, and starts throwing sparks, that's just gonna light up like a dry roll of toilet paper or something. So every morning we try and blow all that stuff off. There's potential for it to throw a spark into that stuff and smolder all night. If you started going now, well, then maybe it would flare up while you're driving, or who knows. Anyway, we always try and get the leaf blower out and blow it off, which I'm gonna go do right now because it's back at the farm. You know, the crossing into this field was really bad. I don't know, the county has been doing some sketchy road maintenance for about 1.5 years now. And they had this crossing so bad. I guess Gary he got really mad. And my aunt was driving him over here. She called the county and told them they needed to fix it. And they're like, well, we can probably get someone over there in the next couple days. And she's like, no, you need to get someone over here in the next 20 minutes. So I called this guy over and they pointed out what needed to be done. The ridge that they left coming into the driveway was like packed rock and clay and, you know, gravel or whatever, but literally it was, I can't use both hands, but it was about 1 foot high and maybe 8 inches wide, and then had a huge dip and then back up to where the driveway is. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but every time I mean, you couldn't even drive a pickup through it. Well, I suppose you could, but if you don't care about your suspension or anything. She called them and they were here in just a few minutes and fixed it. So getting finished on that field yesterday was quite the challenge. We had to fix that cylinder, which was not a huge problem. I had a bunch of loads to take in, but then we also had a hydraulic hose on the 8430. That's our big tractor with the big wagon on it. I was driving it back out of the field and I smelled some hydraulic fluid. 2 seconds later, there is the transmission red lights flashing. Shut everything down. Turns out there's one little hose down by your left foot on the other side of it, not in the cab, outside of the cab, that is just affixed with a little bitty hose clamp. I suppose it's some sort of return or something. It chose violence yesterday. It was an issue. Right now we're trying to get started, and there's a tensioner pulley that decided to seize up last night. I could smell rubber burning, or hot rubber, but I couldn't really tell where it was from. It's a pulley inside the engine. It's kind of tucked in there, but the tensioner wasn't moving as it should. Like, as the wheel turns, it has a rod on there, it should move, you know, as whatever, but apparently it decided not to function and burned out the pulley. He took the old pulley with him. I put it in his truck and I was going to show it to you, but it was pretty burnt out. Stuff on the screen. He took that pulley with him, but it was changing colors. It was so hot. This is another reason why we always try and blow all the dust off, because who knows how long it would have been before that would have sparked if I wouldn't have noticed it. I could smell it, but there's about 400 belts on this thing. Well, not really. There's a lot of belts on this thing, and it's really hard to tell sometimes which one might be the issue.